Tomorrow starts 2021. Insane. How do we set up a plan for next year that regardless of what comes our way, we can stick to? That's what I'm diving into today. Strap in, get ready for episode 198. Let's go.
The future of fitness.
How do you gain muscle mass?
Fitness is not complicated. It's simple when you break it down.
There's so much information out there.
No fads, no diets, just plain simple habits.
You're listening to the Bones to Bulk podcast.
Hey, welcome to today's episode. My name is Brian Parody, and I will be your host today. If this is your first time listening to the show, welcome. It's going to be a good one to maybe set the stage for hopefully a great fitness journey. And for my return listeners, thank you for coming back. It means the world to me that you continue to tune in to this podcast. Before we dive in, if you need something more than just a podcast to listen to or videos to watch, I do offer one-on-one coaching. I will set up a free consult call with you. Just email me, brian@bonestobulk.com, or you can text me at 706-222-7551. I'll set up like a 10-15 minute free call. We can kind of discuss what I do and see if I'm a right fit for you. All right, with that being said, let's dive into today's topic. So 2021 is upon us. Holy shit. Like, can you believe it? 2020 is over. Well, we got one more day, but you know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. Sometimes I didn't think 2020 would end. And then other times I would look at the calendar and be like, how are we already at the end of this year? Like, what happened? I feel like it was like this little time warp thing we all got sucked into and then spit out the other end. And we're just looking around like, what is going on? But I want to talk a little bit about setting your intention for 2021. And while we have no control over what happens in 2021, like who knows what's in store for us after 2020, like anything is fair game, right? So we can't control the external. What we can control is the internal. We can control ourselves. We can control how we respond to situations, how we manage our own lives, what steps we choose to take, what decisions we choose to make. We can, in essence, set our own destiny. And I know that may be unpopular opinion as far as, well, no, the man's trying to keep me down and the system keeps us down. And yeah, that's kind of an excuse. And I'm not saying that there's not external factors involved, but we have so much control over our own lives. And I don't need to tell you the 1,000,001 success stories of someone who has come from nothing and created something insane. Like, just Google it. There's a million stories out there. So we really have zero excuse. We really don't. We can begin to make some kind of steps today. And sure, maybe it's not the ultimate goal by any means, but we can make a step. One small step, one small something to get to where we are at. And so that's where I want to get you thinking. Where do you want to be? Like, take a hard look at yourself. Where do you want to be 1 year from now when we're sitting at December 31st, 2021? Where do you want to be in your life? Do you want to be the same? Do you want to be different? Do you want to be ripped with more muscle? Do you want to have had lost weight? Like, what do you want for yourself? So often we say, well, I want to be fit. Okay, well, that doesn't mean jack squat. My version of fit may be different than your version of fit, which may be different than the next person's idea of fit. That's not like a clear vision. What do you want? Like, write it down, mark it down, put it on paper, a specific thing. I want to be down 60 pounds next year. By this time, I want to have put on 30 pounds of muscle by this time next year. Something definitive, something you can measure, something you can look at and say come June and say, hey, I'm on track with this, or I'm lagging a little behind and I need to step things up or make new adjustments, things that you can measure. Because if a goal is not measurable, it's really not a goal, because there's no way of tracking like, hey, am I, working towards my goal, or am I just kind of sitting here twiddling my thumbs, doing nothing, waiting for 2021 to go by? And I'm not trying to come across as harsh or anything, but it's a reality. And it's an important question to ask. And I often ask clients, like, what do you really want? Because I hear you say you want this, but I see something different played out on a daily basis. And I think that's where we run into where we can want stuff all day long. I can want to live in Middle Earth in the Shire all day long, but it's probably never going to happen. And so we can't just say, I want this, I want that, I want that. Like, we have to understand that wanting something, whatever it is, whether it's to make more money, whether it's to be in a relationship, whether it's to hit your fitness goal, it's going to take work. There's no just snap your fingers and everything is perfect in anything, whether it's money, relationships, fitness, like raising children, whatever it is, like it's freaking work. And some days are just shitty, like they are, but that's part of the process. It doesn't mean that there's not a ton of good that comes along with it, but it's just the hard reality of, hey, if I want this, yeah, this is going to be awesome, but this is also going to be brutal some days. And I'm going to want to give up some days. And I'm going to have negativity thrown at me from other people who don't understand the journey I'm on. I'm going to have friends that turn away who are saying, hey, why don't you come hang out with us? And you're going to turn them away because you're like, I can't do that lifestyle anymore. I'm making changes for my health. You're going to have family members that are like, oh, you can eat this, you can eat that. Don't stop worrying about your weight. Stop worrying about your muscles. Like, just live. You're going to have people spewing negativity your way, both people you know and people you don't. I guarantee you, when you make a hard decision, when you make something life-altering, because I truly think that completely changing your health is life-altering. It truly is. But whether it's health or whether it's something else, when you make that decision, there are going to be people that do not like it. And that's not on you, that's on them, because they recognize something inside of them that, hey, I probably should be working towards something different. And the fact that you're working towards it brings a lot of insecurity and a lot of fear that they're going to get left behind. So it's super important to recognize where that negativity is coming from. I don't mean like who the person is that's saying it. I mean, what's going on in their life? Why are they spewing that at you? And you've got to put up a shield and say, you know what? That's on them. That's not on me. And do what you know you need to do. And this new year, like, I really want you to hone in on bettering yourself. That doesn't mean that you ignore people. That doesn't mean that you're an asshole to people or anything like that. I'm not saying just, sit inside your shell and only be consumed by you. But what I'm saying is you've got to make yourself a priority when it comes to the decisions and the changes you want to make in your life. Because if you always put yourself on the back burner, guess what's going to happen? All that water in the pot's going to boil out, and the pot's going to start to burn. And the house is going to get filled with smoke. If you're not careful, the house will burn down. Am I being a little dramatic? Maybe. But what I'm saying is you can't constantly give unless you are doing things to fill your own cup. I know you've heard this before, this whole analogy. And there's nothing wrong with that. Again, that doesn't mean you become this self-centered asshole who doesn't care about people. Not at all. In fact, quite the opposite. Because when you begin to fill yourself up, when you begin to chase after the things that you want, you become kinder because you're filling yourself up at the same time. So you have more to give to other people. Kindness is free. I love that. I know it's probably overused, but it's so true. It doesn't cost us anything to be kind to someone, to lend a helping hand, to look the cashier in the eye and ask them about their day or how's it been going, or just stop and pull ourselves away from our phone and just say hello to somebody we're passing, in the store or on the street. Like, that stuff is free, but we've got to be filling ourselves up so we have something to give. And I don't mean to get off kind of on a rampage just about, bettering yourself, but I mean, come on, it's true. We've got to take that hard look. We've got to ask the hard questions. Are you ready? Are you ready? And if you're not, there's nothing wrong with that. You shouldn't feel shame or guilty because you're not ready to take those steps. We all get there differently and at different times, and we all have our own journey to go through, even to get to that first step of the journey. Like, getting to the journey is a journey in and of itself. And I know for me, I spent a lot of years not being able to get to that first step. Like, the journey to the journey was really slow for me. It really was. I was stuck for years. And I'm not saying that I've arrived by any means, but I got to that point where I was ready to start the journey, and I'm so glad I did. And I know you will be too. All right, I hope this helps. If you want to talk more about this, if you have a question, if you want to, again, set up a consult call with my free coaching, please either email me, brian@bonestobulk.com, Brian with a Y, or you can text me at 706-222-7551. I'd be happy to set up a free consult call with you, discuss what your goals are, and help you kind of iron those things out. That's what I'm here for. Remember, no matter what obstacles are standing in your way, how far away your goal seems, you can get to it. You can accomplish it. Anything is possible. Anything. I truly believe that you can accomplish anything. You've got this.